What if Gojo dodged Sukuna's world-cutting slash? Everyone was ready to accept that Gojo lost. At least I was. The strongest sorcerer of the modern era was cut in half and fans were left stunned. But then Gege Akutami dropped a bomb. It's safe to say that Gege is not pulling any punches by rubbing salt in our wounds. In a recent comment, he said something that changed everything. If Gojo hadn't let his guard down, he would have dodged Sukuna's world-cutting slash and won the fight. That changes the entire narrative. So today, we're rewriting that moment. What if Gojo did dodge? What if he kept his guard up, didn't assume victory, and played it like the high-stakes battle it really was? Let's break down exactly how that fight would have gone if Gojo never let up. The fight between Gojo and Sukuna was already chaotic as it was. Gojo had just survived Mahoraga adapting to his techniques. He was in control again. Limitless was working. He believed he'd shut down every threat Sukuna had left. Then it happened. Sukuna unleashed the world-cutting slash, which was a technique that didn't just break through infinity, it ignored space entirely. Gojo wasn't ready for it. He didn't see it coming, but what if he actually dodges it? In the original fight, Gojo wasn't outmatched. He was caught off guard. That final attack that changed it all was a trap. Sukuna used everything he had left to catch Gojo in one moment of overconfidence. And that's the key. If Gojo had seen it coming, he would have survived. Before that final hit, Gojo was dominating, not just keeping up, he was outpacing Sukuna. At the point of that fight, he had hit Sukuna with 4 black flashes. He was breaking through defenses, landing clean hits, and forcing Sukuna to adapt on the fly. Even Mahoraga couldn't tip the scales fast enough. Just around the turning point, Sukuna was cornered and without any hope. So if Gojo doesn't die there, Sukuna doesn't walk away from that fight. As Sukuna raised his hand, Gojo felt something wrong. A cursed energy signal unlike anything he'd sensed. Not stronger, just different. And that difference was enough. He moved. Instant teleport, not a wide dodge, just enough. The slash hissed past, distorting the air, and for the first time, Sukuna missed. Gojo turns slowly, eyes sharp. The real fight begins. The slash rips through the air behind him, but Gojo's already moved. He turns to face Sukuna, still whole. In this alternate timeline, Gojo is stunned as he imagines the possibility of what would have happened if he had not evaded the slash. And now the fight really begins. Gojo doesn't waste time. That close call just told him one thing. Sukuna's not done evolving, and Mahoraga is still adapting. This isn't about brute force anymore. It's about timing and precision. He blips forward faster than Sukuna expects and swings with a brutal close-range punch laced in cursed energy. Sukuna stumbles back. No fancy attacks, just raw speed and pressure. Gojo's making it personal now. Sukuna tries to get distance, but Gojo is already there, keeping him boxed in. He doesn't let up. Every attack is calculated to throw Sukuna off balance before Mahoraga can update its adaptations. Gojo knows he has a small window. Before the attack, Gojo had effectively neutralized Mahoraga before Sukuna landed the world-cutting slash. During the fight, Mahoraga adapted to Gojo's infinity, which was a big turning point, but Gojo didn't panic. Instead, he used Mahoraga's own adaptation against him. He timed an unlimited hollow purple so that it hit both Sukuna and Mahoraga. The attack obliterated Mahoraga's wheel and sent him flying. Sukuna had to teleport Mahoraga away mid-attack just to save what little was left. After that, Mahoraga never reappeared in the fight. He was effectively out of commission. Then Gojo changes the tempo of the fight. He activates his domain expansion again, Unlimited Void, but this time it's condensed. Not the massive one from before. A smaller, more focused domain like a sniper shot instead of a nuke. He's learned from the last clash. Sukuna's counter domain activates too, but it's not the same. He's unstable. His soul and Megumi's body are still struggling to stay aligned. It shows. Gojo's domain slips through. For just 0.2 seconds, Sukuna freezes in place. That's all he needs. He sends a hollow purple. The blast hits hard. Not enough to finish Sukuna, but it tears through his left side. Blood sprays. Sukuna growls and pulls himself together with reverse curse technique, but now he's on the defensive. Sukuna realizes something he had known all along. Gojo isn't just strong. He's adapting faster than Mahoraga. Every time Sukuna switches tactics, Gojo shuts it down before the wheel can even rotate. He tries again, fires off dismantle slashes, warps the environment with domain residue, but Gojo keeps moving. Infinity is active again, but now it's a trap. Sukuna tries to close the gap to bypass it like before, but that is a bad move. Gojo plants a reverse cursed energy bomb underfoot. It explodes, flipping the terrain and knocking Sukuna mid-air. Gojo follows up with a high-speed teleport. Teleport, punch, vanish, repeat. Sukuna can't find his rhythm. He tries summoning Mahoraga again, but Gojo doesn't give him the time. Another domain expansion, short, sharp, and fast. This isn't just sorcery, it's a chess game, and Gojo's 5 moves ahead. Sukuna roars in frustration. For the first time in centuries, he feels it. Pressure. Gojo isn't just matching him, he's pushing past him. And something worse starts to happen. Megumi's body can't keep up. Megumi's body wasn't built for Sukuna's level of output. The more intense the fight, the more the soul-body connection weakens. His cursed energy wavers. Gojo notices, and he pushes. No time for Sukuna to regain his footing. He tries summoning Mahoraga again, but Gojo throws a terrain-shattering cursed bomb, sending him skyward. No time, no space. Both fighters are battered, worn down not just by each other, but by the sheer weight of cursed energy they've unleashed. Gojo's body is trembling, his cursed technique fraying at the edges. Sukuna's cursed energy energy flickers, his link to Megumi's body unstable and unraveling with every second. Gojo knows he can't keep this up. He has one last move, and it might be his last period. With the last of his composure, he folds his domain inward, not a massive sphere, but a compressed microdomain nested within his infinity like a scalpel within armor. It's precise, measured, and risky. Why? Because holding both infinity and a domain, even a tiny one, at once is like trying to balance a blade on your fingertip during a hurricane. It's not something a sorcerer is meant to do. As soon as the veil snaps into place, Sukuna freezes for a heartbeat. Just one, but that's all Gojo needs. He pushes past the tearing sensation in his own body, blood now trailing from his eyes, and fires a pure hollow purple. No flourish, no buildup, just cursed technique stripped to its deadliest core. It hits hard. The beam tears through the void, smashing into Sukuna's chest with surgical finality. His cursed markings glitch. His body buckles. The soul-to-body fusion begins to collapse under the strain. Sukuna's mouth opens, but no words come out. He flickers once, then disintegrates. Not from raw damage, but from failing to hold on to a body that no longer wants him. Gojo falls to one knee, breathing raggedly, the glow around his eyes fading. He didn't win with power, he won by outlasting a god, with strategy, timing, and the one thing even Sukuna couldn't replicate, discipline. News spreads fast, the king of curses is gone. Gojo is alive, barely, and the world breathes again. Yuta and Yuji meet him first, stunned and then relieved. Megumi is unconscious but alive. Gojo's still working on pulling his soul back, but with Sukuna gone, it's only a matter of time. The balance of power shifts overnight. Kenjaku realizes it. He disappears from the board. The culling game loses its edge. The one trump card is off the table. After his hard-fought victory against Sukuna, Gojo's mind isn't at peace. No, his focus is now on something far more personal. The loss of Geto's body to Kenjaku's manipulation. In a world that never lost Gojo after Sukuna's defeat, his next mission would be Kenjaku. If there's one thing Gojo won't allow, it's this monstrous sorcerer continuing to use his old friend's body to carry out his sinister plans. Gojo's next mission is clear: eliminate Kenjaku. The aftermath of Sukuna's defeat leaves a power vacuum, but Gojo isn't interested in that. He doesn't care about the cursed world's politics right now. What matters is Kenjaku, the one who played God with Geto's body and twisted it into something unrecognizable. After all, the worst betrayal Gojo ever faced wasn't the fight with Sukuna. It was Kenjaku's manipulation of his best friend's corpse. Gojo knows that Kenjaku is still out there, pulling strings, playing games with the cursed spirits, and carrying out his twisted plans. And he can't let this stand. This next fight, this hunt for Kenjaku, is personal. Gojo tracks Kenjaku to an abandoned temple deep in the mountains, a place known for hiding powerful sorcerers and dark secrets. Kenjaku, ever the schemer, had been manipulating cursed spirits and sowing chaos from the shadows, but now the time has come for him to face the music. Kenjaku isn't foolish. He knows Gojo's power all too well. Despite having planned for this moment, having the upper hand in numerous ways, he's not entirely prepared for the wrath Gojo brings with him. The situation quickly escalates. Kenjaku reveals his latest weapon, a cursed technique that allows him to manipulate the souls of those he's touched, twisting their wills. The spirits of powerful sorcerers, now under Kenjaku's control, rise to fight Gojo. They waste no time getting right into battle. Gojo's overwhelming energy creates a powerful shockwave, crushing any resistance before it can even form. In an instant, Gojo's limitless technique surrounds Kenjaku, locking him into a spatial stasis. The air becomes charged with unrelenting pressure. For the first time in years, Kenjaku feels fear. Gojo tells him that he is done using others' Kenjaku. He has twisted their fates to his liking. Gojo wastes no time bringing his long life to an end. Kenjaku knows this is the end, but he's not one to surrender easily. He attempts one last gambit, summoning every cursed spirit under his command to flood Gojo. But Gojo has already neutralized the strongest of them. As the spirits attempt to overwhelm him, Gojo's hollow purple unleashes, devastating everything in its path, leaving nothing but a shattered ground. Kenjaku is left gasping, cornered, powerless in the face of Gojo's unstoppable force. Kenjaku would be unable to escape or fight back and is left at Gojo's mercy. With Kenjaku defeated, Gojo finally finds some semblance of peace, but the battle has left its mark on him. He won't forget what happened here, and he'll carry the weight of this fight forever. So let's talk about what would have happened if Gojo actually dodged that world-cutting slash and defeated Sukuna. Honestly, the entire JJK world would look completely different. First off, Jujutsu High wouldn't have collapsed into chaos. With Gojo still alive and back in action, the school would remain the stronghold it was always meant to be. Students would continue their training under the world's strongest sorcerer instead of being thrown into survival mode. Imagine how differently characters like Yuta, Hikari, and Todo would develop if they had Gojo's guidance during those critical moments. The power balance in the Jujutsu world would never have shifted so dramatically. Think about it. Without Sukuna's victory over Gojo, all those factions waiting in the shadows would have stayed there. Kenjaku's plans? completely derailed. The guy built his entire strategy around Gojo being out of the picture. With the Six Eyes still watching, he'd have to go back to the drawing board or risk getting obliterated. But as we have shown, Gojo would eventually have to hunt him down and take him out. Megumi's fate would be completely different too. Instead of having his body permanently hijacked, he'd recover under Gojo's care. We'd actually get to see the true potential of the Ten Shadows technique develop naturally. Plus, his relationship with Yuji would continue. That brotherhood that was cut short in the actual storyline. Speaking of Yuji, the kid would finally catch a break. Without Sukuna's victory hanging over everyone's heads, Yuji could focus on actually growing as a sorcerer instead of constantly dealing with the guilt and trauma of Sukuna's actions. Maybe he'd even develop his own unique curse technique rather than just being Sukuna's vessel. And the culling game? It could still happen. But with Gojo in the mix, the participants would face a completely different challenge. It just depends on when Gojo chooses to take down Kenjaku. Instead of an all-out bloodbath with no rules, they'd be up against organized resistance from the get-go. Gojo would systematically dismantle the barriers, rescue civilians, and probably take out half the disaster curses before breakfast. The curse users who sided with Kenjaku would think twice too. When the strongest sorcerer in 1,000 years is actively hunting you down, those promises of power suddenly don't seem worth it. Most importantly, the cycle of despair that defines JJK's world would be disrupted. Gojo always represented hope, no matter how dark things got. As long as Gojo Satoru was around, there was always a chance things could get better. With him defeating Sukuna, that hope wouldn't just be a distant possibility, it would be reality. So yeah, one split-second decision, one moment of awareness instead of overconfidence, and the entire trajectory of the Jujutsu world changes. That's what makes those pivotal moments in JJK so impactful. It's not just about cool fights, it's about how a single choice can reshape everything. In the end, it all came down to 1 second, one instinct, one decision not to let his guard down. Let us know what you think in the comments. Would Gojo have truly ended Sukuna if he stayed alert and didn't let himself be one-shot? Or would the King of Curses still find a way?